There's this moment that happens on a climb. Your breathing starts getting louder. Somebody ahead of you keeps pulling away. And you start thinking, man, am I just not built for this the way I used to be? I know that feeling. I've been there plenty of times. But I don't think that moment always means what we think it means. You might not be out of shape. You might just be hiking with a hurried pace in a place that doesn't appreciate hurry. And that might actually be the wrong pace. And the hard part is that most of us don't even notice it until it's too late. I think that's because a lot of us bring our normal life pace onto the trail. And the trail just doesn't work like normal life. In town, hurry can feel normal. Maybe you walk fast through a parking lot. You go upstairs fast. Or you just try to keep up with the person in front of you. A lot of times we move like we've got somewhere to be. And that makes sense when we're in town. But once you get on a trail, especially once the trail starts climbing, the rules change. A pace that feels totally normal on flat ground can get real expensive once the trail points uphill. That's what I mean by the wrong pace. It's not wrong because you're bad at hiking. It's wrong because it belongs somewhere else. Town pace is built for getting somewhere. Trail pace is built for still having something left when you get there. And what makes this tricky is that the wrong pace usually feels fine at first. That's why it sneaks up on you. Most of the time, the mistake starts before you feel tired. You start the climb feeling okay. Maybe you're talking. Maybe you're with a group. Maybe somebody's just moving a little faster than you. At first you think, oh, I can hold this. So you take a few bigger steps, then a few more. Then you look up and that person's still pulling away. So without really making a decision, you end up pushing harder. Your breathing starts picking up. Your legs start to burn. And now you're not just hiking the trail anymore. You're trying to close the gap. That's the part that I think a lot of people miss. Most of us notice the problem once we're already tired. But the mistake started way back when we still felt pretty good. When we started going a little too fast at the beginning. Or we started taking a few steps that were a little too big. Or we let ourselves go a few minutes, breathing harder than we really needed to. And then your brain starts telling you a story. Am I just too slow? Am I getting old? Am I out of shape? Or am I just holding everybody back? But sometimes that story's wrong. Sometimes your body isn't failing. Sometimes your pace is. And this is where it gets a little heavier. Because now it's not just your legs doing the work. It's your ego too. Group hikes can mess with your pace in a really quiet way. And nobody even has to be rude about it. They can be kind. They can be patient. They can be totally fine waiting. And you still feel pressure. You see them up ahead. You see them stop and look back. And so you say, oh, I'm good. But now you're not really hiking your pace anymore. You're hiking the pace that makes you look okay. That's what I think of as ego pace. Ego pace is the speed that you hike at when you don't want to look slow. And I get it. Nobody wants to be the person that everybody's waiting on, especially when you're thinking to yourself, I should be better than this. But the trail doesn't care what pace you used to have. It doesn't care who's ahead of you. It doesn't care how strong you look in the first mile. The trail is just going to show you whether the pace that you picked is one you can still hold in the last mile. And that can be humbling. Because in normal life, slowing down can feel like falling behind. But out here, slowing down at the right time can be the thing that keeps you moving. The trail doesn't care if you slow down. It only shows you whether or not your pace is one that you can keep. And that's why I think a lot of hikers need a different way to think about pace. Because what you need is not always a faster pace. What you need is what I think of as your forever pace. Your forever pace is the pace where your breathing stays under control. Your steps stay smaller. Your shoulders loosen up. You're not constantly trying to recover from the last push. And it feels like you could keep moving until the sun goes down. It may not be fast. It may not be impressive. But it's steady. And I'll be honest, at first that pace can feel slow. That's usually the hard part with this. Because when you back off, your mind usually thinks, come on man, we can do better than this. And maybe you can. But backpacking is usually not about what pace you can survive for a few minutes. It's about what pace you can still live with after the trail's had some time with you. And if that pace is slower than somebody else's, it doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that you're finally hiking your own hike. Because slowing down after you're already wrecked is not really much of a choice. The trail ended up making that choice for you. But slowing down before the trail forces you to? Now that's a skill. So how do you catch the wrong pace before it catches you? You start with your breathing. You can use a watch if you want to. You can track your heart rate if that helps. But in my experience, your breathing usually tells you first. If your breathing starts to get a little too fast, then your pace is probably a little too high for that moment. That doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that the trail is asking you to shift gears. Next, watch your stride. Big steps can feel strong. I get why people take them, especially if you're as tall as I am. But on a big climb, big steps can burn your legs pretty fast. Smaller steps may not look impressive, but they're easier to repeat. And hiking is mostly repetition. One step, then another, and then another, for hours. Then pay attention to what happens when somebody gets ahead of you. Because that's often when ego pace starts to show up. If somebody passes you, let them pass you. If somebody in your group is moving faster, let them move faster. As long as the group is still being safe and staying connected, it should be okay. Don't chase somebody else's legs with your lungs. Their pace may be fine for them, but that doesn't mean it's right for you. And maybe the simplest rule is this: slow down before you have to stop. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with stopping. Breaks are actually part of hiking. But if every climb turns into push hard, blow up, stop, recover, then push hard again, that's a rough way to spend a day. Sometimes a little slower now means less desperate stops later. The best time to fix your pace is before your body starts begging you to. And this is where I think this gets bigger than just hiking technique. Because a lot of us aren't just trying to get up the hill. We're trying to prove something. Maybe we're trying to prove that we still have it. Maybe we're trying to prove that we can keep up. Maybe we're trying to prove that we're not getting older or slower or less capable than we used to be. And I understand that. I really do. But the mountains aren't asking you to prove that. They're just asking you to listen. Getting past doesn't mean that you're failing. Blowing yourself up just to avoid being passed is where the hike starts getting away from you. So if this kind of calm, practical backpacking advice is helpful to you, that's what I try to do here on Your Trail Buddy. Just real trail lessons that help you feel a little more comfortable about being out here. But the main thing that I want you to take from this video is simple. You're not weak because you slow down. You're only in trouble when you refuse to. So the next time a climb makes you start questioning yourself, don't just ask yourself, am I out of shape? Ask yourself a better question. Am I hiking at a pace that I can keep? Because the goal isn't to win the climb. The goal is to still want to be there when you reach the top. The mountains don't reward hurry. They reward the pace that you can still hold when the day gets long. As always, guys, I hope this was useful to you. And hopefully, I see you out on the trail.